Hello, viewers. Welcome. I'm RX Oliver. These are my friends, and we're back with Metanthropes RPG. This is Metanthropes Anthologies Session 2. I have an all-star crew and cast with me today. From my right to the left on the screen, you've got the one and only RX Oliver, your producer. Then you've got the one and only Mr. I'm Chris Kidd. Check out I'm Chris Kidd on all socials. Then you have the writer of this amazing RPG, our narrator, Mr. John Legitman, and the one and only Mr. DM for Hire. Check the link below in the YouTube description, Martin, and the one and only Brutally Honest. Check out Brutally Honest on Twitch for Monday, Wednesday and Fridays to see what we do over there. So yes, that's your intro. Wasn't the best one today, but over to you, John. Oh, one more thing, John, sorry. Viewers, don't forget, 5% off everything on the Metanthropes store with your discount code RX5. There you go, John, I remembered.
Nice. This offer will stand for the entirety of this anthology saga that we're gonna be playing for the next couple of months. I'm your host and narrator, John. Thank you, Oliver. Today is Metanthropes Anthologies episode 2 called Overture. And let's start by reminding our viewers a bit of like content warning and some stuff to get out of the way. Metanthropes is a storytelling game intended for mature audiences. Content warning for violence, foul language, guns, knives, lightning, fire, death, mind controlling, mind reading, mind bending, spirits, reality warping, psychic whispers, turning into a tree, cosmic horrors, and breaking the fourth wall are among the subjects that we may encounter today and throughout this saga. The game is at early access. You can find more information at metanthropes.com. All will be in the descriptions below. And everything is still being developed as we speak. And I will attempt some accents. I will attempt some impersonations. I will do my stuff. Apologies to anyone being offended. And I'm delighted as always to play with this amazing crew. And we had our session 0, we had our session 1, and now we delve deep into the mythology and cosmology of Metanthropes in today's session. As in a quiet corner of an expansive multiverse, in a modern world much like our own, a group of strangers shall come together. Guided by the invisible hand of destiny, they will find themselves inexplicably drawn to an aged opera house, a relic of forgotten elegance. Within its walls, an enigmatic performance unfolds, and little do they know that each of them is a metanthrope, gifted with a unique, extraordinary ability. What will happen and which machinations led them there is up to them to figure out. So, before I get us deep into the session and we continue right where we left off, I want to remind a bit of our viewers of who you are playing, but we're gonna do it in a more cinematic way. So allow me to attempt that. Let's go with this one, and we see, let me show you a picture that if you're kind enough, I think you can show. Actually, right now, you're seeing a picture, right? All of you, Oliver included, right?
Yes.
And let me double check. If I close it, does it close for you?
Still open for me.
Okay, Oliver, keep it a little for our viewers to see.
Okay.
As for Metanthropes, as they are discovering who they are, yearning to learn more about their meta powers and the nature of their existence and the nature of reality in generality, followed a calling and they were led into this opera house, and they all entered at the same time. And as the curtain uplifted, they saw some tapestries. 4 tapestries for our 4 protagonists. Each plays a very important role to each of them. And as the usher, what we have seen, let me show you that picture also. Now, upon the stage, as the narrator to some sort of performance, how do I show the picture? View character artwork, so picture, there you go. The usher comes into the stage and starts talking about Act 1, the Metamorphosis. And funny enough, those 4 tapestries depict the metamorphosis for each one of you. Starting with Diego del Toro, I want you first to give us like a moment of Diego del Toro's life, not today, like everyday's life, and give us a short description of her to refresh how does he look like.
Okay.
And let's start with that. Yeah.
Okay, so an average day for Diego is he wakes up early and he goes out for a run. He goes out running for an hour, and he comes home. He runs to a certain spot and then he walks back. On his walk back, he picks up a coffee and a breakfast bagel and a newspaper, and then he goes home, sits for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, reading the newspaper, spending the most time on the sports pages, of course, with Sky Sports news on in the background, listening to transfer rumours and updates in sports, football, but also just sports in general. And then he has a quiet lunch for one in a little coffee shop in one of the streets of Zaragoza, or he may just have coffee and lunch at home. And then this afternoon,
as we see, sorry, yeah.
No, you're
Sorry,
okay.
sorry,
You're okay. Just gonna say his afternoon's a bit more of the same.
Because we see the daily life of Diego, and also we see parallelly his tapestry from inside the opera, which depicts 2 people like jumping and their heads colliding. And by watching this 2D, very simply painted tapestry, we actually see the moment with the accident happening, 2 football players colliding their heads. But now it seems as if we see it through a different lens. Maybe something else is watching that accident, and through their heads, around their heads, we see a splash of psychic energy exploding once their head collides, but it seems to affect only one of the 2 that falls down on the floor into a coma. And then we move on to Hulk, the Sword, Zorro. Give us a physical description and like a random day, but how could we see him? Not today.
So, Hulk is your average kind of schmucky looking kind of wrestler guy. He's a bit of a heel, clad in black leather, looks a bit like a biker, some might say. He would normally spend his days going back and forth from the local off license to buy loads of alcohol to drown his sorrow, and train in the gym, the one gym that hasn't exiled him from his notorious past with wrestling.
Interesting. I would like to know more, but we will learn more when the time comes. Now, your tapestry shows something that I do have some questions, to be honest. Oh.
I didn't mean to move. I forgot that it moves the map when I speak.
It moved. It moved. So, on your tapestry of your metamorphosis, you said that we see waves, we see water, and a ship in the water Do I remember correctly?
Yeah.
But you now I do have some questions. You can give us like a little tease, no more, if I get this correctly. And upon this ship happens some sort of experimentations.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So and do in those flashes that we see, similarly to the how we show the psychic energy blast in a different lens from Oliver. Um, maybe I'm just saying here. Maybe we haven't really talked about it all that much, but maybe do we see like is it like violent experimentation, like forceful, or is it has like maybe we see someone volunteering? We see like Hulk volunteering, or do we see him like suffering?
Probably in the flashes you see a desperate Hulk signing a document. You see him reluctantly being strapped to a chair while being experimented on, and then an end result.
We see flashes of some suspicious, if I may say, like medicine, some like experimentation that after like a syringe plants into his veins, we see his hand forming, becoming larger, becoming very small, and changing back and forth. And we zoom out and we see just the water and the ship, and we hear screams from the distance. And then we move on to Aurora's charming. Can you give us a description of Aurora and like a picture of her everyday life, Martin?
Yeah, so Aurora gets up as soon as the sun's up and she runs around her little studio above the dance studio. So she's watering all her many plants and, talking to them a bit, singing to some K pop, as she's like watering all these flowers and stuff, bit of Britney, having a
nice.
great time. And she, at the end, she remembers that yes, she needs to quickly light a candle at her little altar and light some incense and rings a bell and does like a little prayer quickly, and then realizes that she has to run downstairs to start her first like granny aerobic session because they're going to work out, and that'll be her day. She'll be teaching different dance classes for all ages until probably 10 o'clock at night. So yeah, she'll be busy.
As she leaves from her room of comfort and relaxation and study, perhaps, we linger on as the view of the audience, or this lens that's documenting the life of your protagonist, maybe. And we linger on without Aurora being there, and we see next to the candles and to the bell, like some sketches, maybe a book that has a green pentagram. And we transition from that image to the tapestry of Aurora Charming, which has like a pentagram that is green, that is dropping the paint, a little like blood, although it's green. And we see this image at her desk and also at her tapestry. Sorry, and we also see her struggle into her sleep when she's like deep dreaming, and we see some plants and flowers around her move as she does. And last but not least, see a tapestry, very, very simple, that has a cinnamon stick and a spoon. And who is that person that's associated with that particular tapestry, Brew?
Miss Tina Misu. She is quite a posh kind of young socialite. No drab life in comparison to the others that we've heard from. She is a fashionista, and typically her day is filled with cooking and recording videos and editing and posting videos and just scrolling, endless scrolling on apps, constantly just looking at her popularity and who she's reaching out to and the happenings that are going on around town.
How are we on the subscription count?
It started off really bad. She wasn't really anybody known. She was born to chef parents, so she obviously was doing okay in that perspective. They're well-known chefs, but she didn't really have a social standing of her own until more recently when her subscriber count has gone up.
Maybe the recent reviews are a bit more accurate.
Yeah, you could say that.
She got more than
So,
670.
More than that for right now.
That's she's doing well then. She's doing well.
And I want to see by the end of the saga how many subscribers. What you will do to increase them. Okay. So we see this moment in her life of tasting that cinnamon stick. That this like mundane ordeal, this like everyday thing, but something happened, and we see her eating that, and then again once more from a different lens, we see like her consciousness exploding after a bite, her awareness becoming aware of her surroundings. We see different sorts of energies surrounding her head, energies that up until then was invisible to her, and although there are different energies from the psychic surge that happened to Diego, again there's something happening here through this different lens. And now we get back inside this opera, watching all four tapestries together, but also watching the usher upon the stage, watching Diego del Toro almost bleeding no, actually he's not bleeding, but very close to death, very wounded upon the stage. We see like half a dozen of civilians who are just laying there, like the woman that you interacted with the cell phone, she's talking to the cell phone, while meanwhile, as the performance has begun, one of the people on the audience started to create roots from his eyes and eye sockets and nostrils and mouth, and then eventually became this thing that I will show you on your screens right now. Like it's very difficult to describe. It's organic, like maybe a tree or a fungi, 6 meters, has strange colors, strange scents, probably strange tastes. You haven't tasted it yet. And it was really aggressive, and it was creating poisonous fumes. And Hulk, the sword, Zoro answered by becoming the same size, 6 meters, and engaging the fight. We saw panicking. We saw it falling upon this elderly person that was creeping the two girls out. We saw Diego running around uncertain what to do, but then passing around a strange girl with orange eyes and listening to some psychic whispers of a collective of voices telling him that he's acting like a human, and that urged him to start throwing things, started with nails and screws to like small metallic things, and then he looks up, and instead of the ceiling he looks at the stars and sees a falling star, and then sees again the ceiling and realizes there's a big light underneath it, throws the light. The thing is still fighting. Zoro decides to become small from a giant mouth, very small man, and get inside like a hollow that's inside this thing. In the meantime, the girls retreating and realizing that maybe this tall woman with a shaved head on the balcony, let me show those characters real quick as well. Maybe C is having like a weird device that's controlling that thing, maybe because it was projecting some roots and stuff. So the girls went all the way around, and Tina enters a balcony, snaps the device, gets out, while Aurora is there helping her. Aurora also encounters like a second usher on the other side of the opera. That's very weird. This is also the creepy old man, as they as the player's named, Stavot Shtakian, a very pleasant man that's like now fallen down, like because the tree went over him or something. And this is also the woman that Oliver, sorry again, Diego believes whispered inside his mind.
He's very creepy looking.
A bit, only a bit. And now we shall continue exactly where we left off, and it was game unpaused. We still continue the same scene, but in this game, Metanthropes, at the beginning of every session, players can spend their experience and gain more powers, and none gain more in this particular session than Aurora Charming. I want you to begin by making a free awareness roll, Martin, for Aurora. So you open your character sheet, go to your stats, and click on the number of awareness.
Okay, awareness. Look, I've got it, hopefully.
You can spend destiny or keep that results up to you.
She's got loads of destiny.
Destiny.
She's got loads. 15.
You don't get to talk about Destiny because you don't have any. You're not included in this conversation.
I've not got very much either.
I don't know. I'm going to ask Tina/Brave. Do you think it's worth me spending some Destiny on this, or
No idea what you're rolling for.
what do you think? It's awareness, so I think it'll just be like a hint. I don't know.
Now you're thinking like a DM.
I don't know.
Yeah,
he was, yeah.
Is it
No, I'm
worth
gonna
it?
leave it. No, I'll leave it. I'll
All
leave
right.
it. I'll leave it.
Let's say
I'll
that
leave
you
it.
feel overwhelmed by this. You feel so many things. You know that something changed. You're not entirely sure that's what's happening inside of you, because it's 4 levels of failure. But you certainly feel different. But it's a bit overwhelming, like right now. But you can begin your turn.
Okay. Okay. So did I have the thing in my hand, like the
I think
device?
Tina
Or did
Tina
have
has it. Tina has it.
I
and
think we
you
were passing it
were
back and forth.
motivating Tina.
Oh yeah. Because she stopped it, kind of. Maybe we don't know.
She required some
okay.
motivation, certainly.
Okay. I'm gonna try and use one of my new powers, hopefully, to do something. So Hulk's inside the big monster, but the monster stopped for like a second. Did that happen last time?
Tina was creative enough, without knowing how to use the device, futuristic device, to do like this motion or something that she saw this other woman doing, and maybe whatever it was projecting, it turned off. Did it work on the huge monster? I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully it did.
Okay.
Oh.
I guess I want to try and help him. So can I use my new power to kind of get the roots to like restrain the creature?
To turn it against itself.
Well, you was kind of on the floor because it looks a bit fungusy to me, so it might be plant-based. That's just literally looking at the picture. So, or if not, can I raise the roots up from the floor? Because there's always plants underneath things. So whichever would be, most.
Can't really tell you. You haven't activated nature's view. I think that you have only detect pheromones, and you are fully aware which of us here is Metanthrope or not, but you're not sure if that thing is a plant or not. You're not entirely sure.
So can I use the plants
you can
under
try
the
stuff.
floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, can I see if I can get some plants that'll be under the floor to like just shoot out and restrain the beast?
All right. Let me see. They need to be perceptible plants, so you need to see them one way or another. So, like maybe a nature's view is mandatory, like a level 1 that allows you
So I
to
have
see all
to.
the plants.
Okay. So I can't have to use that first. Okay, no, I'll do that. So can I use
Yeah,
nature's
it was
view
like
first?
yeah. Sorry, but if you could see the plants, you could do it directly. But now you kind of have to.
Question on his
nature view it
question
first.
on his behalf about his power. Then does it work on dead plants? Because these big wooden beams would be dead plants.
Like all wood. Can I use all wood?
Yeah. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. Let's. You know, I haven't had a player in a long time with animating to animate plants. So let's see what you can do in the end. How about you click nature's view. It is a full turn, so it will require all your attention to do that. But it might give you some answers.
Okay, and I don't have to.
You click on the icon. Click on the
Okay.
icon.
Hold on. So nature's view, and then activation. Do I click? Or do I have to click?
Just the icon. You click the you know the.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the dice came up. Sorry, I was clicking on
Yeah.
the.
Ooh, almost critical. Almost critical
Nice
success. 5 levels, quite a lot.
Does that mean
Now,
can I sense the wood is slightly alive? Like maybe some old new IKEA furniture's got like a little bit of.
ooh,
little
what
bit
are
of-
you gonna gain? Quite a... Now, when you activate the meta power, you need to click the button activate to see the result, which is underneath the spend destiny. You don't need to spend destiny. Just click the other button from chat. It's on chat. Excellent.
Okay.
Automatically rolls anything else. So for the next 6 minutes, all the building area around you, let's say like the opera main floor around you, you receive detection location for all the plants that are there, so you know exactly where they are and what they are. And with additional level of success, you can extend the area to catch the. Actually, you can do many minutes and the entire opera with 5 level of success pretty easily. So you don't have to make any choices. Like it's gonna be like 10 minutes and you see the entire opera. So you gain access to all the roots and all the that go underneath. Yes, you will be next round ready to do whatever you have in mind. But with 5 level of success, I will give you that whatever that thing is indeed plant-based in origin. You're certain it's not from this world, but you get that. You're certain. You also, I'm gonna give you one more thing because five is quite a lot of level of success. You feel a weird connection with it. I will leave it there, and you can have like a free role play, but then it was a focused action. That thing will play.
Okay, I just want to. I was just gonna tell Tina. I was like, Tina, you might be able to eat it, but now if I might know it, I'm like, you don't want to eat like a family member or something. So.
Well, I was going to ask if it's plant-based, does that mean it's vegan-friendly, Tina? You're the expert.
It might be like a Venus flyplant. Yeah, I'm gonna tell Tina. I was like, for some reason, I know it's a plant. It's my new power. I can tell plants from non-plants.
Oh,
Wonder what it tastes like.
I don't know. That's not my power. That's your power. I can tell if a plant's a plant, and you can see what it tastes like. Between us, we can rule the world. And that's my turn.
Saute some onions, a little bit of tomato sauce.
And now, as we change the POV from inside that thing, we see Hulk the Zorro. It's not your turn, but we see you inside it because it's its turn. You're diseased, fatigued, bleeding, almost beaten to death. But we see him catching his breath and maybe a second wind. But as we see it inside, it has some fumes which are poisonous. Has like some purple roots, some like gooish thing that's a bit sticky. You find yourself like sticking around it. But I want you to make me a willpower roll, Hulk. And it will be a VS roll. I'm gonna play it open. You both failed. You failed terribly. You're so afraid, besides all the other problems you have, terrified. And you're gonna keep this terrible. Plus, actually, you have zeros. I'm not gonna even ask. Zero. So, well, it's a complete failure, even though the other one is just a failure. Well, you're pretty certain that you hear your voice. You hear your name. You hear Zoro. Like a whisper. And you think it's like maybe your own voice. So you see, and it's coming from the hollow that is like deep inside. Since you terribly failed, you feel compelled to crawl your way further inside that thing, like a have some weird image in mind. Let's say that you just
do that and go all the way in.
Yeah.
once you, because whatever it did, it compelled you. If that did it, because you heard like a human voice, maybe your voice. But as you fully merge yourself inside it, you enter a very weird place that I would like the rest of players to briefly remove their headpieces to tell something to Chris, private. Yeah. So, Chris, rather Zoro, once you go like through that, you enter a place inside it. You reckon it's around its head or something, this mushroom top or whatever it is. And it's a completely different environment. It's cold. It has like, actually make me a perception roll. Make me a perception roll. And I will give you also a penalty. So right click on perception. Oh, fuck it, without penalty. It's still failed. That what I will just give you, it is, actually I will give you some images and you can translate it however you want. The colors are more gray and metallic, and they have like a metallic hue. And you also hear chirping noises as if you enter like chips, something like that. Maybe you see microchips that are like neurons that are also like roots. I cannot give you more. It's a failed roll. I've given enough. But you unfortunately end your turn there. It's not your turn. Whatever it did, it's there, and then it seems to shut down from inside. You hear the sound like something's shutting down, and then you all see that thing like collapsing upon itself, falling on the ground. Hulk is, you cannot really see that huge guy anymore, but it collapses on the ground, and the action scene ends. Ta-da. The scene continues, or rather, let me double check, but I think it's time also to change the scene and for poor Hulk to get a couple of destiny at least.
Hey.
But I think, yeah, it's time to change and proceed to our third scene. I would like to give a light sensitivity warning. Nobody has here any problem, but on our viewers, as things will change. And before I describe, let me give you also your destiny from the change of scene. End of scene. Boom, 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 and boom, boom, boom. All right, 2 to 3 destiny each, and now something totally changes. In the aftermath, as you're catching your breath, you see like Zoro sees his hand bleeding inside that thing. Everybody's catching their breath. There's a blinding flash coming from the stage. The only sound that you can hear is your own breath. As slowly steadying, and the rhythmic beating of your heart from a drum becomes like a normal beating. And from this luminous stage that now you cannot really see the tapestries anymore, you just see a powerful light coming there, like a white light. It's not any light that you have seen before. And poor Diego is covered in it. And from it, you see Diego is the first to see a colorful bubble emerging and coming close to him. That bubble that's floating towards Diego, when Diego sees it up close, sees inside the birth of a galaxy, the birth of a universe rather, then galaxies and star systems forming at astonishing speeds. And amidst this cosmic creation, finally we see a familiar blue planet orbiting a sun, your Earth. And then we see 3 more bubbles come and suddenly appear wherever the 3 of the other protagonists are. Those bubbles inside, you see your planet Earth. For some reason, you know that deep inside, it is your planet Earth. And inside, each of you sees something that I want you to describe. But basically, what's keeping you emotionally tethered to the timeline that you come from. That could be unfinished business, your loved ones, something that you left the oven open, or whatever that may be. Let's start with Brew. What does Tina sees inside the bubble of her own timeline?
I think emotionally she's just wanting acceptance in mass, and so that could be popularity, subscribers skyrocketing, fame, seeing her on magazines, whatever it may be, but having not fulfilled that yet.
Interesting. Let's go to Chris. What does Hulk sees?
So Hulk sees a poor young lad with only one leg that he would be friendly with and idolized by, that comes to the gym, and he remembers how much he needs to live on because that kid looks up to.
Nice. Martin, what does Aurora see in her bubble?
Yeah, she sees her brother graduating and them working together with like plants because he's studying to be a botanist. So yeah, she's concentrated on that.
And last but not least, Diego.
Diego sees his ex-employer, the owner of the football club Real Zaragoza, and he remembers a promise given to him that if he ever wanted to come back, he would have a job right away. And Diego just envisions a future where he didn't do it, he didn't cheat, and the what ifs, and he sees himself and imagines himself lifting a trophy, but without the guilt.
Those bubbles twirl around you, so you lose them for a moment, and then you basically realize that it's weird because not everybody's moving here. Some are like deeply frozen, and basically I think you get who is moving. Aurora settled that only the Metanthropes are moving now. This little girl walks around like watching this strange tree from up close, and this goes more so close to the center and says to each of you, "You've spent your days," she's speaking out loud, "thinking that you were alone, the only extraordinary in an ordinary world. And you were, at least when it came to your timeline." And then the bubble like comes before your head and then leaves again. This old man, this short man, very well dressed, a bit retro, continues and says, I assume that you need some answers, and some answers will come your way. A timeline encompasses a chronological order of a single universe, from the monumental convergence that ignited time and space to its inevitable culmination of its cosmic journey. Then the woman on the balcony continues, as you realize they are some sort of a team that continues each other sentences. You just realizing the dynamics, not sure what's going on. This woman gets up, this one on the balcony, like towers over Tiramisu for a couple of heads. I don't know exactly how tall she is. I don't think she's any tall, right? Because she's like very, very tall, over 6 feet. That's like 190, almost 2 meters maybe with her heels and stuff.
Chris.
She looks at you holding her device and says, "It includes all matter and energy that exists, existed, and will ever exist. And the only matter and energy that you have experienced so far is what you called your reality, but what we call the material dimension." And she smiles at you, even though you're holding her device. Although she said that this device is under her protection, she now seems to be fine with you holding it. And out of the deep light, maybe helping Diego a bit to move, if Diego allows it. They move a bit, from the blinding light, and we see the usher telling Diego, but you can all hear it because other than that, it's absolute silence here. "It's time to be introduced into a far greater cosmos, as each timeline houses its own array of dimensions." And as you gaze into your bubble, your Earth becomes an epicenter of a milestone of unknown energies. Maybe someone of you has lore, which I think it's only Aurora, can somehow comprehend that these different energies are some psychic in nature, other elemental, which is closer to your understanding, and there are other energy types out there. And what you see is your Earth is changing, but simultaneously your surroundings around the opera. Before I continue with this exposition things that will happen, does any of your protagonists want to interact somehow up to now?
Apart from, you already said Diego will get pulled away by the usher. He was stepping out of the light, yeah, because he was quite right in the centre of it, so he's going to back away from that.
When that chick smiles at Tina, Tina's going to hold the device up and just give a little on. He's like, "Go for the edge."
What do you give her? Sorry.
I want to just lick the device, that Omni device that she gave me, to do identify object.
Okay. Roll it. It requires like a full minute of concentration, not just around a cycle. But now we're outside of action, so it's like imagine the next minute of dialogue. You will be licking a strange futuristic device. But first, let's see if you successfully activate. With 88, not much have happened in life with 88.
I'm gonna spend the destiny though.
Yay!
Oh, surely. Come on, here we go.
All right, little success. Click on chat, activate, identify object, and let's see what you can do. Ooh, it's a very nice roll there.
Was that an
So for the
exploding
next
dice there, was
12
it?
hours, yeah.
Nice.
For the next 12 hours, with 2 levels of success, you get the green box, which is on bold letters, and the other 2 underneath it, but not the 3. So you gain detection matter and detection location for that thing, so you completely understand where it is and where it will be for the next 12 hours, like a tracker, and also what materials is it made of. And if I'm not mistaken, you also have it on your possessions. You can click its name and open it, but I think it's made from I think it's molecular polyethylene. It's like a weird word that I cannot find right now. Molecular polyethylene. Anyway, it's something that you mustn't have encountered all that much in your life. Very like rare and super expensive materials, which basically, you have no idea. You just ate food up to now. You haven't tasted anything like that. You also become aware of the number of characters who were carrying and holding it, which is definitely this tall woman ahead of you, and only her. The locations it has been around the city, it just has been inside this opera for as long as you can understand with this woman. And you also become aware of the number of characters who were carrying and holding within the week. Yes, the same thing. Also, only in the opera, only her. And yeah, that's about it for now. And you can track it for 12 hours. That's really important. And let's leave it to that for now, because basically at the end of the minute you're gonna get all this information, so you starting to get all this information. How about our little friend Hulk or Aurora? Who wants to go?
I was gonna say if I could help Hulk, like, cause is he still like Thumbelina size? Is he just like a little thing?
I don't think you can see from where you are. Yeah, you can't see him at all. You need to step into the balcony.
Well, can I shout out for someone to help him? Because I think I know he's probably... No one's helped him to actually heal, have they? They've just, like, not put him in that light thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty badly injured anyway, but when I hear you calling for someone to help Hawk, I'm going to start heading over.
Yeah, I mean, I could jump down, but I think I'd die. So, yeah, I'll be like, Tina's fine, she's eating stuff, so I'll start to run down to see if I can see the little man. I was like, have you seen him? He's like about this big. He's angry all the time, he's drunk, he doesn't like to wear tops. I'm just going to run around, see if I can find him.
That's a great description.
As you guys approach the beast, I return back to normal size, and just like Alien, where the chest monster like pops out, you just see these two fists emerge from the top, and I just climb out, and I'm like battered and bruised, pulling myself out like a baby deer being born.
Okay, give me a power roll. Give me a power roll to make sure.
I knew you were going to make me roll that.
Even if we're outside combat, you're so wounded and so like still bleeding and stuff. See, it's not that easy. You see.
All right, can I get fist out? Can I get like a fist out so that they know where I'm at? No, okay.
They hear that.
It's just like a baby when someone's pregnant and the baby's kicking. It's just like a little beep 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 beep.
Oh my.
So we can't
well,
find it.
Aurora.
We can't find it.
So Aurora is rushing like the whole to go the long way around, and Diego is rushing towards him, but he is trying to get out unsuccessfully.
I'm not a doctor. I know a little bit of sports physio. Like I don't know what really I'm gonna do. I'm worse. I'm even worse
you
injured than he
definitely
is.
never encountered anything like that, and well. First off, let's continue with Savo saying, I see many of you are still in great distress. Allow me to use my own gifts to save you and therefore perhaps gain a little bit of your trust. 10 levels. Sorry.
That effect when it got the 10 successes, that little effect, that is just lovely.
Let's say that 10 levels of success. How about I gain around 100 life to each of you? Zoro, almost enough. As you miraculously feel a warmth, rejuvenating sensation, and whoever is wounded, you can gain up to 100 life back. Zoro, you're still pretty much wounded, but the good news are that bones reconnect without hurting you. No, actually, you do feel pain. It doesn't remove you any pain, but the good news is it removes you your muscle injury and your bone injury. And bleeding, does it remove bleeding? Well, it removes just one condition. So for now, I'm just going to remove your massive, maybe muscle injury was your worst.
How do you add the hit points back on the life?
Diego, 100 life.
Oh, okay.
You're 107. And I think Tina was a bit wounded, full health now, full life. And whatever that man did, he seemed to concentrate and maybe move his hands like a maestro or something. And then whoever of you was wounded certainly did feel something.
And this was that old creeper man?
Yeah.
Yeah, the creeper. Definitely the creeper.
Still creeper, but a little more respectable.
Didn't do nothing to me. Didn't do anything to me. I was fine. So
yeah, you had nothing. You may felt the warmth sensation.
No, I was gonna tell Tina to close his eyes. I was like, don't look at him. I know he's gonna do something shifty.
Give me a perception roll, Aurora. Why not?
Perception? Did you say? Sorry.
Perception.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. No, it's not Aurora's day today. She's too stressed with everything going on.
She got so much destiny.
Excellent. Moving on.
No, you know what? She'll use Destiny this time because she's been storing this Destiny, and you know.
I love that we're pressuring you to use a limited.
We had to spend on Destiny. Wow.
Because we've got none left.
Okay, now you see what you were not going to see if it interests you or not. You're in a straight line with that little girl, which she turns a bit around so you can have like fully eye contact, smiles eerily, maybe a bit wickedly, if I may say to you, and then shows you her stomach, like her belly button or something, which has something like a tattoo, which around her belly button is a purple pentagram, with her belly button being exactly in the middle. Exactly like the one in your coven, or I don't know what's the word exactly. But you see that. You're pretty certain. She hides it again. But with one level of success, you're pretty certain of what you've seen.
I'm going to ignore the tiny man and run over to her when it's my turn.
Yeah, you can start running. We're outside of initiative, so if you want to make,
No.
you can move your character.
That's
Or you
tiny
can
man.
jump from the balcony.
Nah, she'll
Always.
walk down. No, she's not that cool. No, she'll run past the tiny little man because he's fine and run over to the girl.
Okay, as you we see through the POV of Aurora. You can make the long way around. Or do you want me to like teleport your stuff?
Yeah.
I can bring you here more easily, so you don't
Okay.
have to make the. So once you enter, you see the usher welcoming you, like showing you can enter. And
I do a shoulder barge as I walk past because they were not helpful.
Oh my, how rude. Then this usher closes the door behind you, but you also see an usher covered in this white light at the other side of the opera. And now, this little girl comes again into the middle, watches you, Aurora, and says, stop the music. Why is the music playing? Or just it's a bit, yeah, this one is very low volume. Anyway, move on to the next. And the usher says rather, before we delve deep into showing you the reality of the world that you live in, I suppose you understand that each of you has special gifts, and you're just in the first seconds of the first day of developing your meta powers. You are Metanthropes. You are both a human being with its passions and errors, but also you're destined for so much more. You do feel that, don't you?
Diego looks at the ground and takes a half step back, and really doesn't like hearing it. He doesn't want people to know. So when you're saying that he's a Metanthrope, he's like these people know. Like, this is not a great moment of discovery for him because he doesn't want to be discovered.
Tina starts salivating more.
About now, 1 minute has passed, let's say.
Still salivating at the promise of something greater.
Diego del Toro, you do hear again whispers, different ages, different accents, different voices, different genders, different everything, but all centered around the whispers, the voice of that little girl, which now you hear inside your mind, you and you only, saying you have so much potential inside you. You're a psychic telepath. You have unlimited potential. You used to hide it. Why? How do you reply? Out loud or in your mind?
Don't. I give them a total silent treatment. But see,
the whispers go away.
Those whispers were. See if you've got good headphones. Holy shit, that was good. Like, I was like, I can hear voices. What's going on? Is he doing that?
I did give a warning for psychic whispers.
Oh, that was cool. Like, very, 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 very cool, John.
That woman seems maybe like you can roll an awareness roll because you're the only one that heard the whispers to sense
Awareness.
An awareness.
Okay.
Like a simple roll. Nothing to spend destiny about, I would say. Oh my god, that's a good roll. That's good enough with all the penalties. Oh, you must be diseased because you have like a minus 20. So probably you sneeze, but you also realize that the silent treatment worked in that little wicked girl, and she smiles, and she wanted you get that she wanted to taunt you, push you, and you stood your ground, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
But she continues and says out loud the following. And when she says that, you see the bubble with the earth around you, but also the environment of the opera utterly changing. And she says, there are dimensions out there, dimensions that some of you, in one measure or another, might be already familiar. Quick look to Aurora. Dimensions like astral, the landscape of collective imagination. And once she says that, she turns around, and as you can see, the environment around you changes it. You see, as she says the following, you see your earth enveloped in swirling silver mists emerging from every corner of civilization in the planet. Let's say, like for the United States, there's a lot of silver mist, but from a desolate place like Antarctica, not so much. And this ethereal spectacle seems to reflect. It seems to be. Sorry. And I got a bit lost. Sorry. What? Okay, never mind. But it also says the following: the astral dimension, a boundless realm of the mind, of the psyche, existing parallelly to the material dimension. Within astral, the fabric of reality is shaped by imagination, dreams, and subliminal thoughts, giving form to the intangible, turning fantasies and nightmares into reality. Around you, you see those silver mists cover the opera, followed by a hue of a psychic energy that's around. Maybe Diego can feel an intense connection with this perhaps newfound reality that we see. By the way, let me double check something. Where are the mists, QP? It's a bit strange. There should be some mists here. Anyway, does anyone react particularly to this strange new environment? Perfectly.
Do we know that we've shifted? Like, would I know? Because I know a little bit about this stuff.
You do know a little bit about this stuff, and from what you know, let me double check. Study myths and myths in the world. You know that you can visit the astral realm, the realm of dreams. Of course, you've studied before, especially with your metamorphosis. You know, you definitely studied those things. But you know, you cannot enter with your physical body, only with your dream state. So, if this is indeed the land of the dreams, theoretically, with the minimal lore that you have, you should be able to change your environments with your, as that girl said, after all. Do you want to try something?
I'm gonna change the thing that Tina's licking into candy floss. I'm gonna concentrate really hard and see if I can transform it. Diego's
panicking slightly because the last time he was in this place was when he was in a coma. The dream state. The last time he was in the dream state.
Yeah.
That realm, the last time he felt like he was...
Okay, make me a willpower roll, Diego.
He's got a feeling that he's been somewhere like this before, and it's because he was in a coma.
While Aurora, in order to change things, you don't really know the process very well, but let's start with the consciousness roll. Diego has failed. Diego has succeeded. Aurora has failed. Diego, let's start with you.
I failed by 1 point. Is there no way you can, like...
Oh my god, can you like a 5% bonus? Sure thing. Let's call it a barely made success. But a
Man's got the most destiny I've ever seen.
I know why. He's got loads of destiny. Make him reroll.
I don't know, use a destiny point just
I'm
to add
giving
1
bonuses to
point.
the
I
one
love,
with
I love how
destiny.
everybody's just jealous of how much destiny Martin's got. We're trying to make him burn it.
So with Diego, you basically what you did was to bite your teeth down, and yes, you went through sports therapy. You had like many personal struggles, but you're not afraid. You're not asleep anymore. You're not in the coma anymore. You're awake. You control yourself. As for Aurora, with a barely success, you realize that it's weird, but because you're awake in the dream world and it's very new, and it will be much difficult to change stuff around, but it is possible. Can only give you that in this very, very early role in the new realm that you are.
I'm still doing that, like I'm looking at Tina, just like pushing my head, like I'm doing something at her. That's all yeah.
Your eyeballs are vibrating.
Yeah.
And by the way, Chris, how about you give me a perception roll to find your way out of there? Its power is not working, or you want to power through once again?
My arms are fixed now. Well, my muscles are fixed now, so we might be able to do it this time.
Yeah, you might be more powerful.
Yay.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, look at that.
Even
3 levels
in
of
vain,
success.
you find a hole that this telekinetic dude has thrown something heavy on it. It broke it. Its carcass, its carapace, or it's fucking wood. I don't know. You have no idea what that is, but you get outside of it. You fall like a very, very tiny man, probably even shorter than Savo at this point. Let's say that you come between this Savo Tsutaikian and Diego del Toro. There you are, my friend. He goes and taps your head. He seems to be very happy to find someone shorter than him at the moment.
Yeah, there's no greater feeling in life than finding someone shorter than you. I know all about it.
And he does check you, checks your cheeks. Do you need any more assistance, my little friend? You seem tired, withered, and broken.
Yeah, I got pretty fucked up by that massive squid mushroom animatron. I don't know what it was. My bones are broken. I don't really know where I am. Have you got any medication that might help, or do you know a doctor?
My friend. He removes his black glove and touches your forehead and says, "You are amongst the presence of the conductors of the veil. We can perform miraculous. We can perform miracles. By saying that, you feel the full rejuvenation. I guess you go full life. You remove both the all the conditions basically besides fatigue and disease, unfortunately. But the good news are, and pain, sorry, whatever it is the list, but you remove full life. But you can try your own thing to remove your fatigue. How about you try that?
Is it stamina?
It's meta stamina? Any of the three, not the alt. The alt is just hold your breath more. So you can click on the icon of any of the three meta stamina, and not right now. Maybe. Don't worry. You will get there, my small friend. You will get there. Maybe he holds you like that and gives you a little
Noogie.
if you allow him. I don't know. You will get there, champ. Don't worry.
I allow him, but as he does that, can I try to enlarge? Like back to my normal size?
No, because you're still fatigued. So you cannot
okay.
really do it. You have to succeed first on this one and then try. So you're still small. In the meantime, this Chavo Tutakian fella will continue this high budget presentation that these conductors, as they name themselves, has presented for you. And he says, "Our dimensions like Nether, the dimension of what was, but is no more. The Nether dimension is a temporal realm that exists in the past. Within Nether, echoes of forgotten ages resonate, and where remnants of the past linger. It is a realm where the forgotten find their resting place, from the souls of the departed to ruins of once majestic structures, to tales and ideas lost in the annals of time." As he says that, your earth and the bubble around you and the environment around you becomes bleak, becomes covered in black flames and dark ashes falling left and right. Again, QP, I don't see the ashes, so maybe one of the updates have, the weather effects removed for some reason. But also, yeah, imagine that you're covered in ashes, and now the opera seems different. The opera seems to not have been built properly yet, as if we are in the past right now. And what else? Has any of you lost in their lives something like a material thing, or maybe even a loved one that's very, very dear to them or something?
Tina lost her cat.
Cats. Personally, I wouldn't go there because I have like real life issues with that subject. I didn't really mention it. But for lore reasons, the souls of the animal do not go to the Nether. It's a different dimension.
It would have been like a stuffed cat. A little.
A stuffed cat,
Yeah.
you might find here. Yeah. Okay, let's go with Tina. See that lost item that she has lost somewhere in the opera. Savo seems to be catching that for some reason. It says, maybe catches the actual stuffed cat and says, "Everything that you have lost you may find here, but know that traveling to the nether dimension is no time travel as you may have seen it in the media, but rather it's a new dimension. It exists in the past, but by visiting it, you do not time travel and alter history in any shape or way or form. But as long as you are here," he throws you your stuffed cat, "you may find solace in the things you have lost, or find very, very important lost information that is forgotten. Everything that is forgotten, from people to items to ideas, reside here." And it concludes with the tall woman that gets up and says the following: "All dimensions like the other dimension." When she says that, everything changes again around you. You feel as if you are inside, like, let's say you're inside a pool during the night that it has open lights, and you see everything like waving as if you are underwater, but also like iridescent colors floating left and right. The other dimension is a temporal realm that exists in the future of the material dimension. Within Ether, she makes this notion to show that the waves are surround you. You don't feel water though. It's not like you're wet or something. Within Ether lies an ocean of unrealized possibilities and forthcoming wonders. It is a realm where the unborn souls wander, where marvels not yet constructed can be found, and the ideas not yet conceived take shape. Here, it's in a very interesting realm. How about you all make a creativity a creativity roll, and who is the most creative of you at the moment?
Me
Let's
today.
see. 15, we have a pretty creative person. 15 was Aurora.
Nice roll, Mara.
Mine's not even that high.
Creativity.
Maybe Chris will have like a stroke of creativity. And Hulk will see something.
As we moved into this dimension, do
No,
I still
just a
have the
stroke.
cat in my hand?
No, very, very, very good question. The cat became black flames and then cinders and washed away. Pretty sad, sorry. But the device which you are holding in your hand seems to, well, did fail by 5 levels of failure. So let's say your character is pretty sad about the stuffed animal right now. So you don't really see your device at all. But Aurora, only you actually become inspired by ideas of the future. These ideas could be a new choreography for you. It could be expanding, your researches. Whatever it might be, it's not an idea that you have conceived in the material world. What the idea might be?
Yeah, she's been studying some of her like Slavic folklore, and she's trying to figure out how to do like combine it with like a dance performance to like
Oh wow.
show off this like Slavic story. So I'm gonna say she maybe plans it all out in her head now, so she's like completed.
Yeah,
I guess.
now it all makes sense. Like you came with the idea in this realm where ideas not yet conceived reside, as it appears. And there is another bubble now that emerges from the stage's bright light, drifting into the usher's hands. The usher is watching like this, the bubble, watching like the Big Bang, then turning to darkness and vanishing the bubble from their hands. And says that the timeline that you originate from, everyone and everything that you knew, is nothing more but a phantom timeline, simulated construct designed to lead to your emergence, to create the perfect conditions so that we find you. Because even a single Metanthrope can alter the course of the history of the entire cosmos. And the woman on the balcony continues, and the coalition of Metanthropes can influence the entire multiverse. And the usher again continues and says, but your reality was but one in a nigh infinite multitude. And as this profound realization starts to sink in, that the reality from which you came from is a constructed thing that maybe those people created, those Metanthropes created to find you. First off, QP, unfortunately, neither this effect changes. Let me see if I can find manually the effect, because this one is pretty important effect for the scene. We go to
the effects that were on were excellent.
Yeah,
That was it with certain ones missing. That was still very cool. I'd love to see it with everything on.
Yeah. Like half of it is missing
Hmm.
from all these ones, but for this last piece, yeah, the bubbles don't seem to be working, bro. I'm opening them manually, but maybe this module. I don't know. So apologies. We're just gonna have to use our own theater of the mind.
I think I see bubbles like on the very
Huh?
bottom border of the map.
Oh whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
weird.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe it's
yeah.
a layer issue.
Layer issue, aye.
Okay, QP. This is the area. What the hell's going on? So if
They're
I
very pretty.
close this.
Bring them up a layer, or put the theater down a layer.
Okay, so they remove from here. But if I click this one is not.
Well
Oh,
spotted,
it's working
Brew.
again only here. Yeah. I don't know. QP has any idea? No, QP is actually AFK now. So okay. So you can see the
can
bubbles.
see the bubbles,
that I
yeah.
have. Okay, I open the door. You can have a look at them. Apologies for that, my players and dear audience, but there seems to be something with the modules of the effects. So I want you to imagine the following with the good old theater of a mind. You see bubbles forming left and right, and the usher continues, gets up on the stage once again, actually, and continues with that dramatic performance voice. We're actually not on the stage, over here, yeah, with the white. I like it this over here. Act 2 is the multiverse, where all timelines are woven together into a grand tapestry of nigh infinite threads. Our multiverse. It's a vast and intricate web of interconnected realities. And as you can see, all these bubbles, that each of them has their own Big Bang, their own, end of the timeline, and they fade. But some of them, they flow alone, the descent that they become lost. But some of the bubbles bloop, merge. And much like bubbles in real life, they can merge and become one, so do these different universes. Within the multiverse, the fates of countless beings are intertwined, their stories echoing and reverberating across each thread. In the multiverse, every decision made, every action taken, spawns new timelines that ripple outward, creating a web of infinite possibilities. The only question is, who will you choose to become in this vast ocean of possibilities? And the 5 bubbles around you flow and merge into one. So maybe your destinies too intertwine now. How do you react to this? All of this?
Seen the bubbles, we've seen my reality and the other 3 people's realities all joining together. I'm gonna glance around at the ones that I can see and see how they react to that.
To the ones that come again, sorry?
So you said that it was our bubbles, my bubble, Aurora's bubble, Tina's bubble, Hawk's bubble, all merged together. So when that happens, I have a look at Hawk and at Aurora and at Tina to see. Oh, I'm checking out their reaction before I react myself.
So what's their reaction then?
Yeah.
I think Tina would probably still be sad that that cat that was lost for so long was like in her grasp for a simple moment before vanishing again, and then all of this is kind of just like a lot. It's overwhelming. So I guess the reaction from her would just be like surprise and still trying to comprehend what's going on.
Aurora's gonna pick
probably
Halcott.
you look around. Sorry.
So he can see the bubbles, because he's still little, right? He's gonna put him up on his shoulder so he can see the bubbles.
Yeah, the bubbles are pretty much everywhere. Wherever you see a different timeline forming, then disappearing. It's like much the effect that is over here. But yeah, QP, we do have a problem with the effects. As you can see, they're stuck into this box that we have created, the non-area effect, the non-rain effect. Anyway, it's not really possible. You can use our theater of mind. Everywhere are bubbles. When you look at them, you see something different. But now, in the center, let's say, is one big bubble. That's all of your bubbles. And now, since yeah, QP, since you're back, check what's going on with this area over here in like the lobby, where the visual effects are all present here. But it's no biggie. We continue without it. We imagine countless bubbles around you, and it is the, let's say, Shavo Chutaikan continues and says, "My dear friends, we we are the same, albeit we come from a point in space and time that our gifts are much more developed. And whereas you were up to yesterday only bystanders passing next to this cosmic symphony, this opera, and never knew what it becomes, what can be, today you become its audience. And as you develop your meta powers and your special gifts, soon you shall be instruments that can change the cosmic symphony. But as for us, we are the conductors. We are the ones that create these realities. We are the ones that are looking for more metanthropes such as yourselves across this vast reality." How about we take a little break about now? Is everyone cool with that?
Cool.
Mhm.
Coolio.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Before
let's have a
we
break,
take our
everyone.
break,
See you soon. Yeah.
Hawk takes out his what now looks like a comically large hip flask and takes a swig of what smells like paint thinner. Because he's on Aurora's shoulders, he offers it down.
It's like, oh, little guy. It's
And
still
there's
drinking
the
it, and then
bubbles.
probably choke because she thinks it's like milk or something.
Okay, all right. After a few chugs of alcohol. Thank you, QP, for the bubbles. You can see the bubbles. That's a good time to take a break and enjoy them after the break. So see you in 5, everyone.
Yep, nice one.
Okay.
All right, so we're back with Metanthropes Anthologies, episode 2, Overture. And this is indeed the overture of the opera. We continue as the usher walks down the aisle, walks down the opera, and says, "First off, we want to clarify that you're not prisoners here. Should you wish to leave, I personally will make sure that you will leave safely and return to where you came from. But we know this is not the first time we do it, and we know that this profound realization, all this exposure, look at the bubble, they look at the bubble around them, is maybe too much. And if you want to take your time, you can."
Diego looks at the door.
Interactions from the players.
No, Diego looks out the door. He doesn't want to be a metanthrope. He doesn't want to have superpowers. He wants to pretend he does it. But seeing these other people here together, and there must be a reason why we brought here together. They must be here for a purpose. So he's waiting it out.
Yes, you do feel something inside of you.
Like,
Tell you that.
Diego's so far in his mind, he's only done wrong with his meta power. He's done a horrible, cursed, wretched thing. So the thought of maybe something that could redeem that's maybe what's keeping him here now. When he sees that someone's pulling metanthropes together, there must be a cause that he's pulling them together for. Maybe my powers can be used for a better purpose, and I can atone for my sins. That's what's keeping me here.
But why would you have put us through a fight?
The woman next to you continues and says, "This was merely an audition. We wanted to see what you can do. We saw potential in you, and we wanted to see what you can do as a team, as a coalition, when pushed to your limits, when your lives were on the line, and you didn't disappoint."
I mean, if you really wanted to see what color my blood was that bad, I could have just did a little sample, you know?
Of the blood?
Yeah.
What?
You didn't have to like burst me open to see. You see, you wanted to test us under pressure, and like you don't. Yeah, you don't have to almost kill me to see. But okay, you did. That's fine.
What is to come?
Now that is a good question, says the woman. The old man, actually the little girl tells to Diego and says, "Apologies, Senor Diego, but if we haven't pushed you the way that we did, you would still be trying to." He makes like a remark. Kind of find the words like you would be trying to like medikit help him. He refers to the first action that you attempted before using your telekinesis. So he says like you were still trying to heal his leg up, but you know, lost for words right now, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So if you are done with your existential crisis, we can continue and tell you what's next, how we can use you, and how you, through these missions across the multiverse that we send you, can develop your capabilities.
Okay. It's not going to be so easy to totally end my existential crisis, but I'll try and put it on the back burner for a minute for you and hear you out.
You say that out loud.
Oh yeah.
The old man laughs. "Do not worry, my friend. We invite you to explore a brave new world that has opened up before you." He calls you like that because he very shows you like the bubbles around you. Every mission is a journey into the unknown, a challenge to unravel mysteries, an opportunity to evolve your precious meta powers. We let's say that the usher continues and says, "Among the nigh infinite possibilities of the multiverse, there are two pivotal events that have irreversibly altered the course of everything. It was first the discovery of other metapowered entities that are vastly more powerful than ourselves as Metanthropes and exist in far greater numbers and also operate across numerous timelines." The woman in the balcony, the tall one, says, "Do these entities prove to be a threat? They are classified as multiversal threats. They are cosmic beings clouded in mystery, manipulate reality itself, and pose a dire menace to all timelines." The second constant, continues the usher, is that in this ocean of possibilities, an inevitable emergence, as in the elusive realm that we call the prime timeline, the Metanthropes who have ascended to unlimited levels of power there have constructed a bastion outside of space and time, a nexus known as the Veil. This city is populated by the most powerful Metanthropes of existence, and it's the last stronghold against all the threats that lurk beyond. These enigmatic Metanthropes are known as the Orchestrators, and we are tasked by the Orchestrators to finding new Metanthropes, discovering new timelines where they emerge, and introduce them to this far greater world beyond their own. And should they choose, join us as members of multiversal factions of Metanthropes that operate across the entire multiverse, and through your adventures to learn a lot more about the world and then even more about yourselves.
John, real quick. What was that name of that city that was populated by the Orchestrators? The Veil.
The Veil.
Spell that?
The Veil for Tina means the city, or
Oh,
it's a
so like the
word
French
that's
word,
actually- it could be a
Ville.
village.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, got
Could
you.
be a village, it could be a smaller town, something like it.
Yeah,
It's a French word.
yeah, Ville. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Just had to say that to me, I would have known, like. Diego knows French.
Good, because Tina doesn't.
You know, French Canadian, it's nearly the same, but also different, right?
I'm definitely an imposter. That's actually my meta power.
The answer says, looks at all of you. How do you look? Give me Hulk. You look inspired, afraid. What sort of emotions run through you?
I wouldn't say afraid or inspired. I just prepared, like kind of just like, here it go again, motherfuckers. You know, that kind of attitude.
Okay, how does
here we
Aurora
go.
look?
Aurora's excited because she did the whole thing with the ball thing, didn't she? And like got the inspired to do the dance thing, so she's kind of intrigued. Also, she wants, I don't know if I can do this, but I've got like some medical herbs in my inventory that I think can help Hulk. But do I have to roll to use them?
I'm
We
grand.
will get to
Don't
there.
worry
Don't worry
about it.
about the conditions
sorry.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine, you can
But
die
yeah,
as a child, I don't mind.
actually, do you know
Fine.
what I'm thinking before I get the reactions from the other two? No, actually, let's get the reaction of the other two, and I will tell you what I'm thinking. How about Diego?
Diego's having an existential crisis. like the old man said. Diego's apprehensive, Diego's anxious, Diego's curious though. Curious, like I said earlier, maybe this curse, this injury, this curse that he's got, maybe it doesn't have to be a curse. Diego's maybe for the first time in a long time hopeful.
Interesting. And how about Tina over there in the balcony with her new device?
Tina would have audibly scoffed when we were referred to as like pawns, essentially. And I think it's more of like a thought process of, well, nobody has to know that I'm serving like an order, right? But that I'm supreme to maybe others, and that I can pull more admiration from others who are like the normies now, I guess. So I think it's kind of empowering, but also I don't think I like to be told what to do.
Interesting. Let's say at this point, as we have like half an hour before we summarize the session, let me tell you this. the conductors will actually allow you and give you some time to process this, maybe talk amongst yourselves, and basically sorry, what is scene one? Sorry. And basically give you some time to process this, in which time we can say that Aurora gives the herbs to Hulk, and you mend each other's wounds. Let's say that you are given some time inside this opera to just sink it all in before they basically tell you that they want to show you the missions that they have in mind in other dimensions. But maybe you take like a moment for yourselves, as the only bubble that remains in the room as the curtains close is the one that's all four of you together. And when you look at it, it's different each time. This one doesn't fade away. You can see yourselves working together. You can see yourselves fighting. You can see yourselves helping each other to develop their meta powers. You can see the bubble being empty and each of you in a different horizon. It's basically endless possibilities, but it shows what can happen when your destinies are intertwined. So give us like, besides like basic things like helping each other, but what else would you like? Would you talk with each other, get to know each other more? Maybe some of you don't even know each other's names.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give Hawk a sports massage, deep tissue massage on the muscles that he's hurt, because that's something that I can do to help. It's something I'm actually well versed in. So I'm going to I guess we would spend some time bonding over that, Hawk, if you're that way inclined.
As a reaction to him rubbing me down, I'm going to use my meta stamina to get rid of my fatigue.
It's time. Let's see it.
Let's see how it happens. Let's see how it
Actually,
works.
I cannot find you on the map. Where are you?
Oh, I'm on top of Aurora.
What are you doing there?
Oliver, can you do me a favor, do a zoom in on that?
Where are they?
Next to you. Both of
Oh yeah. What are you guys up to?
Aurora
still
came
can't
over
get
and
me.
picked me up and
Yeah.
Oh
her
yeah, that's
shoulder.
right. You're on her shoulders.
You're making it a bit creepy now, so I've given him some
Okay, let's
herbs
say,
you on, and you're giving him a baby massage on my shoulder. It's a little bit creepy.
Yeah, let's say that
I think you would get down off your
eat
shoulders
some
before I
herbs.
massage him.
You do eat some herbs
Yeah.
from Aurora, and I remove you the disease. Eventually, let's say, because we're getting like a downtime or something, you will get your size and remove all the negative conditions eventually, and yeah, you continue to interact with each other. Actually, since when we continue next session, we're gonna be here in game, and you can enrich the downtime with more interactions between yourselves and maybe the conductors. But now I think so you don't lose anything, but you can continue in dialogues you have between your NPCs in the next session. But to summarize this session, I think I can give the presentation of what your missions would be throughout the saga, and you get to actually choose the order in which you will complete those missions, or at least attempt them.
Okay.
So each mission seems to be, let's say that all this information you take through dialogue in a more downtime fashion. You sit in these seats, move around the opera. Your characters are free to move around the entire map if they want. If the doors are not closed, you can check it out. If you're into that, into discovery maps, because you spend some time here getting to know each other, getting to try out your newfound meta powers, the ones that just developed, but more importantly, learn a little bit more about the world and the cosmos. You can again use, ask anything you want the next session and um, enrich it. But for now, let's say that the conductors say to you that the dimensions will take you to a different timeline, and each of them will encounter you with a different dimension. We want you to work as a team, as a coalition, as they say it. And the first one is described by the little girl. The little girl does present herself and calls herself Tiruvati. And let me see if this works. Nah, there's the mists. There's the mist of the astral. And once again takes you into this realm. But this time the opera curtain opens, and instead of the tapestries, you see different things on the stage. Tiruvati says that in a different timeline, there is a powerful Metanthrope who has achieved a role known as a concert master, which is only a few steps away from realizing our level of power, and usually is the most powerful Metanthrope of the entire timeline. This one in particular, and now on the stage you can see a modern world, much like our own, maybe in the 90s, not super digital world, by the judging of the cars and the less digital screens that you see on buildings or whatnot. But you do see a very large corporate building, a skyscraper, that says Oneiros, like Corp, maybe it has the Corp or not, but it's like the logo of this corporation that's on the skyscraper. And Tiruvati describes that this concert master, who is the CEO of this massive company, has claims to have found a dimension that exists, a pocket dimension that exists within Astral. Have you heard this saying that in the realm of the dreamers, all your dreams can come true? Well, this is actually a reality in this vast world that we live in. And inside Astral, there are rumors that there is this hyper realm where anything that you conjure becomes reality and all your dreams can come true. It's a fascinating tale that requires much investigation, and we want you to go to that timeline and encounter this concert master, this CEO, this powerful Metanthrope, and figure out if what they have discovered is real or not. Let's say that this presentation could be a lot more elaborate than this short dialogue that we have now in the wrap-up session. Again, once more, the last time, you can add questions next session, but is there anything on your mind right now that you want to ask before we have a brief look about the second mission?
Yeah, I mean, I already want that to be the last mission, and I've got a reason why.
Interesting. What's the reason that you're thinking? And did you say this out loud to the coalition?
No, I'll say this
Or
as a
maybe you
player.
want to
I'll say
speak?
no. I'll say this out loud as a player to my fellow players and the narrator though.
Okay.
So Diego's dream come true is to win the league without having used his meta power. So if Diego could get to that pocket dimension and have his dreams become reality, I think Diego's dream would be to have his meta power taken away. So that can only happen if that was to happen. It has to be the end of our campaign. That's why I want that one to be the last one.
No, who knows? It doesn't have to be the end of the campaign. Maybe we will discover something else. But I like how where this can lead.
At the moment, he thinks that's what his dream is. That may
Yeah, at the
change.
moment, maybe we see the other two, and next session we shall start here outside space and time, spending time. Maybe I'll give you like some downtime to increase some perks if you want, and get to know each other and prepare for each different mission. But before we choose, let's see what the other conductors have to present to us. Let's continue with Savo's mission. Well, I am Savo Chutakian. I hope you have met me. But I'm known with many other names across many other timelines and fables of civilizations, as I am a member of a multiversal faction known as the Sumerian Kings. We are immortal beings who have guided humanity and guide humanity across many different timelines, and we operate in the largely in the nether dimension, in areas of the past where massive amounts of lore were once there but now lost from reality. Our not headquarters, something like under headquarters, like base of operations, let's say. And there is one that in most timelines you can find us there. It is the one location in the past. It is in the Library of Alexandria or other similar locations. But in one particular Library of Alexandria that was lost many, many years ago, one particular Sumerian king, one of my colleagues, but one that he gives me the jeepers creepers, you know, and he's not as kind and heartwarming as I am. Through shine of light, he's rather like a gloomy fella, and he conducts very dangerous experiments. And well, he claims to have also discovered some profound realizations that can alter the very way that we travel through nether dimension. It will be a very gloomy mission that will you find yourself surrounded by ghosts and maybe ghosts of the past. But also is filled with a rich lore and forgotten tales and ideas that are lost in time. How about this one? Anyone having any direct thoughts?
I like the old man, so I want to do whatever he wants us to do.
I've been nudging Tina the whole time when he says he's like a nice guy and this other guy.
The other guy's a creep. Yeah.
When he said he gives me the jeepers creepers, I probably chuckled a little bit.
Yeah, because if he
like-
gives you the creeps, they must be really creepy.
That's one.
I just wish
The
that
creepy
Tina
guy
was like,
is one.
you can always see his hands at the same time, like both hands have to be like up in there. I don't trust another one.
Let me see your hands when
Those
you're
are huge
talking to me.
Yeah. Okay. Chris Hulk rather seems to be eager to help Savo Chutakian in the realm of what was but is no longer. And last but not least, it is the tall woman that identifies herself as Nico Quint that says, perhaps, Tina, you shall find this device very useful in the mission that I want you to do on the behalf of my multiversal faction. And know this, all of you, that the order of which you choose to follow them might alter the way that the not chosen option will be when you choose it. With that in mind, I wish to take you to the other dimension, but in a timeline that exists far, far in the future. This thing that you have encountered today shows the tree has spread like a virus, assimilating all organic forms across almost the entirety of the timeline where it's originated. But there, if you visit the Ether and go to the direct moment when it assimilates the entirety of that timeline, there is access to secret information that we cannot gain any other way. It is a very risky mission, very dangerous one, as you have encountered already just one of it, and know that the more that they are and the larger that they are, the far more difficult they are. And in this timeline, they will be the largest and the most numerous that there will ever be. But we need to study those things of extraterrestrials. Should they become a multiversal threat, then we will not be able to contain them into just one timeline. And the concept master that I want you to visit there is no Metanthrope at all, but rather it is a combination of an artificial intelligence and a spirit that resides in that dimension and will be what you may have heard scientists call as the singularity. So with those three missions in mind, I would like us to end today's session. I've given plenty of food for thought. But first I want you to tell me if anyone has a special connection with that third final mission, for whatever reason that be.
First one that struck a chord with me.
I think Tina would be interested. I mean, it's massive mushroomy creatures, which are like food. But but also I think she would want to understand more about this device too, because apparently it could be quite useful.
In which device she puts one hand, she moves very nimble and charismatically. It will be difficult to oppose her, like taking your hand away. You can, or you can try, but she calmly and politely and maybe seductively then puts one of her palms under the hand that you're holding the device, and the other like closing it like that, like I'm giving it to you. Next suggestion says, as I told you, this device is under my protection, but now it is yours. Maybe an unlikely owner, but given time perhaps, you might learn to use it better than even I.
Merci.
And the usher concludes and says the following: should you return from all those missions, whatever the order that you choose to take them might end up being, what will happen after that is for certain that you will return experience, knowing much about the world and much about yourselves in a power level that you cannot even comprehend now about yourselves. But know that there will be always bigger fish out there. After that, what will Act 3 be is up to you to figure out, and looks at all of you. Nico continues and says, the future is yours to say. Savo continues and says, your role in all of this is pivotal. It's much more important that you can understand, even in this vast, vast multiverse. As timelines interweave and threads mount, your journey is a testament to your resolve. Virvati continues and says, the multiverse stands on the precipice. Will you rise to fulfill your destined role, or become one with the annals of your own timeline? lost forever. And the Acer concludes and says, but that, as they say, is a story for another time. The Acer bows, the curtain closes, and our story for the day concludes. Thank you so much, A-Team. I have been your host and narrator, John. And see you in a couple of weeks after summer. Boo-hoo-hoo. Maybe 1st of September, if I see here, 1st of September
I think so, yeah.
for episode 3.
Yeah, 2 weeks today.
Whee! Stay legit, stay meta. Whee!
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.
And thank you so much. It was an amazing session.
It
really.
was. Thank you,
Loved
John.
it.
Thank you, my fellow players, my friends. That was an absolute fun one. It always is with you guys. And as always, thanks to our viewers. Stay legit and stay meta, viewers.